What's going on, YouTube? It's your boy Reckless here once again with another interview. This time I got a talented new rapper and producer straight from Santa Cruz. Got the homeboy Kai right here. What's going on, bro?
What's up, man? What's up, Reckless? How you doing, bro?
Doing really good, man. Feeling good.
Good to chill with you outside of a show for once.
I know, right? I always go to a lot of his shows. This guy's an amazing performer and shit. And, like, he has such a great way of interacting with crowds, you know what I'm saying? Like, how'd you get started in music in the beginning? Let's go back to the beginning.
So, for me, starting with music, like, as a kid, you know, I didn't think that... I always thought that you needed, like, thousands of dollars and, like, a giant studio setup, you know, and, like, you needed to know all kinds of people just to make music. And then, you know, later on, high school came around and, like, I discovered writing raps. I was like, this is kind of cool. I could write raps on some of my favorite instrumentals. Yeah. And then, you know, never took it seriously. It was just, like, did that shit in class because I didn't like school. Yeah. So, right? Basically, I mean, you know, it took until maybe graduating after my first year of college, I found out that you only needed a computer to make music. Like, that's where that shit started. Like, all you need is a laptop and a lot of time. So yeah, exactly. So that's where it started with me, man. GarageBand, like what, 2015? Fall 2015. It's the first time I made a beat and it was trash. It was absolute doo-doo beans.
Oh shit. And like when you started to make beats, like you couldn't tell it wasn't the best beat in the world, right? When you started, or did you know?
Oh, dude, I thought I was the shit. Yeah, so right? Like I thought I was hot shit. You know what I'm saying? But it's like, you know, you listen to your stuff and then the first time somebody tells you that, you know, what you made was trash is like the biggest humbling experience. Yeah, it is. Because it's like, oh damn, let me try again. You know. So it took maybe like 200 beats to make one that I actually felt proud about, and that actually is kind of what led to the whole, you know, transitioning from first. I don't know if you were following me back then, but it was like Eli Beats, and I transitioned to just kind of like forming a name for myself and like kind of like finding my own sound. Yeah. So that's where it started.
Cool. You started off as Eli back then, right?
Yeah, because that's my name, Eli. You know, Kai. Yeah, like, I'm not gonna keep that a secret from nobody. Like, I used to try to be like Eli and Kai, but it's like, bro, why would I be a double personality? That's how crazy. You do like people. The Humpy Hump and Shaggy. You know what I'm saying? I thought they were two different people. Yeah, like, I'm Eli. You know, people call me Eli. People call me Kai. It's that's me. That's who I am. Yeah.
And where did Kai come from?
Kai, it came from a family member that's real special to me. It's dope because I take everything from their universe, and that's what I, you know, like use kind of like for the inspiration in my raps, and also things that I experienced as well. And you know, like Kai didn't really come to be until I got this baby right here. Until I got the SP404.
Check that shit out.
First Kai beat that I ever made was on this thing, and it was it's where I discovered that, you know, like you can take other songs and sample it to make other beats. Because in the beginning it was just me using stock sounds like from the computer. Yeah. And like that's why it sounded trash, because I didn't know what sampling was. And you know, it started with loops and stuff, you know, simple shit, just simple chops. You would hit one pad for the drum pattern and let it lock, and then you would just hit other pads and stuff. But you know, as time went on, you just kind of like learn stuff. YouTube was like the biggest thing. Yeah, it's a good bit of help. Yeah, YouTube University, because I got a PhD. Yeah.
And how was it hard getting into it at first? Was it intimidating seeing all the buttons and all that?
Yeah, it was definitely intimidating, because there were people who were already good at this, you know what I'm saying? Oh yeah. And when you have people that are already good at this, like, you kind of get discouraged.
Oh yeah, it's a natural thing, because you want to be there already, and you see yourself, you're like, fuck, I just started, and they know like this shit like the back of their hand. You're still trying to understand what this does and what this does in correlation to other shit, right?
Yeah, it's like, why doesn't my stuff sound like their stuff? But then, like, music is subjective. You can't, and also progress is subjective. Like, no matter what your goal is in life, it's like, you know, everybody's level of success is going to be different.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, you can't compare yourself to another artist and their sound. Also, because their sound is different.
Yeah.
So it's all really about, like, for me, was learning every single thing I could about this machine.
Mm-hmm.
Like, when it was software, I used Logic Pro in the beginning.
Yeah.
So, you know, you learn everything about that software that there is to know.
Mm-hmm.
And then, you know, you take it from there. You craft your songs around that, around the tools that you have.
Mm.
Yeah.
That's what's up. What would be the best advice you would give to somebody starting off trying to be a producer?
Somebody trying to be a producer? So, my biggest advice would be not to get caught up in spending money on gear.
Mm-hmm. It's a lot of big mistake, right? It's a big mistake.
Yes, a big mistake. I've wasted a lot of money trying to get a bunch of stuff that I don't need, like extra MIDI keyboards and stuff like that I ended up not even using. It just collected dust.
Yeah.
Like, just find an avenue that works for you, whether, you know, you like to use synthesizers and keyboards or you like to use vinyl records for sampling. Just kind of like figure out which direction you want to go. I always recommend picking up a real instrument.
Oh, okay.
Like, one thing that helped me with making beats was picking up the drums.
Oh, all right.
So learning rhythm, you know, like, and that way also you can learn how not to have samples.
That's so you can make original music.
Yeah. So
would the drums be the best instrument to start off with, or do you think like anything would work, like trumpets, violin, clarinet?
I think probably any instrument that strikes your attention. Like, I don't know, man. Like, it's if I were to pick an instrument to, because there's really no easier or harder instrument. It's all a matter of how much you practice and how much consistency and how much time you put into this craft. So, like, you know, personally, I like one-note instruments. You know, I used to play the flute, like when I was 12, and that's an instrument that I'm interested in relearning. You know, it's kind of difficult because, you know, you need an instructor and stuff. Yeah. But it's really hard to say what kind of instrument to learn first. Like,
I would say like a drum, right? Because like you're using a lot of drums in rap music, specifically hip hop.
You learn rhythm with drums, which is one thing that I could definitely commend. Is that, you know, you learn how to have a beat, because without drums there's no beat. So so it's a good place to start. Definitely, I think just learning rhythm in the first place would be the best place to start, and like learning how to count and learning different time signatures and stuff. Like, you know how songs go 1, 2, 3, 4. Like, that's most hip hop songs. Yeah. If you can learn to count in 3s or 6s and stuff, like, which also takes practice and time. So it's all stuff that has to be worked at.
Yeah, exactly. What do you think separates you from other artists?
What separates me from other artists?
Yeah, whether it be rapping, producing wise.
I think it's that mostly I like to work alone. Like not to be a stick in the mud.
By all means, man.
But like one of the things that kind of like, you know, is kind of a pet peeve is when someone, you know, tries to ask me for a collab before like getting to know me. Like, let's be homies first. Like, you know, that's kind of not how it works. You know, just ask somebody for some shit. So, I mean, I like to work alone. You know, I like to work with artists that also like to work alone, because you know, they're more focused on, you know, achieving their goal, but we can also bring each other up to, you know, on each other's platforms. Like the EP with 1AM, for example. Like, you know, for the most part, she worked alone. Anything apart from Golden Trees was her own solo career. So working with her was great for me because we got to spend time in the studio, and that project probably took like a year. Oh wow. So like, it
seems like it's like short time because it's a small EP, but it does take a while, right, to craft the whole like concept.
Well, most of it was my fault because, you know, I was lagging on getting back to her for the mixing and stuff. But, you know, it was also scheduling. Like, you know, it takes time. People have to sacrifice things to meet up with other people, like how you and I sacrifice time to meet up for this interview today.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
everybody has to make a sacrifice, and that's like the only way anything ever gets done is everybody's making a sacrifice.
Yeah, exactly. You can't just like have everything go your own way, because it won't always be that way.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? There has to be a compromise somehow.
Right. And even if you do like to work alone, you know, then you will have to work as a part of a group eventually.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Yeah, of course, because even when you meet people, they know people as well, and you know, you end up being in that social circle, and you know, shit happens.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, dude, it's crazy. Like, you know, you would never think that you would need help from other people.
Mm-hmm.
Like when you work alone, it's like, I want to do this and this and this and this. I want to
Yeah.
produce, I want to write, I want to record and mix and master. But it's like, you know, you need to also remember that things are better when you include other people.
Yeah.
It's more fun, you know?
Yeah.
Like it makes things more lively.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, it really does. And then
Yeah.
you also get that perspective you didn't see. Like, well, what if we do this
Exactly.
today? Like, oh yeah, I didn't think of that. And then the song becomes much better.
right, that's one thing that working with 1AM taught me. It's
Mhm.
like I learned her sound,
Yeah.
you know, and like what she wants to do, and like what she, like kind of her process a little bit,
Yeah.
you know, and then any questions that she might have about like making the mix louder or something, I could
Mhm.
probably help her in that way. So like
Mhm.
everybody brings something to the table, and everybody walks away with something new.
Exactly. What does hip hop mean to you?
Man, hip hop is life.
Mm.
Hip hop is life, man. I breathe hip hop. Like I've been in love with hip hop ever since I was a kid. Like I first heard Tupac when I was 6, 7, when my pops and moms would play the CD religiously in the car, and they, you know, I don't know, like if you know, you had folks back in the day who had the shit on the sun visor with like the stack of CDs.
Of course, I still have one in my trunk.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. So like, you know, you'd have Nate Dogg on one of them, 213, all the West Coast
Classic.
legends and shit. You know,
Yeah.
like my folks never really listened to East Coast, so I'm kind of the
Yeah.
one to break the chain there. Like my brother was all West Coast too, so
Yeah.
like, I mean, I discovered Gangstar and, you know, Mobb Deep and shit in middle school.
Dope.
That's where it started.
Yeah.
Like the whole like wanting to hear chiller and also more, you know, like boom bap shit, not
Yeah.
just like, you know, bitches and hoes and drinks
Yeah.
and drugs and money and shit. Like,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
at least, you know, to hear that with more of a like a different feel.
Mm-hmm.
Because it was all party in California, and
Oh, yeah.
like, you know, East Coast is like hella serious.
Straight up. And what, for those who don't know, what is boom bap?
Boom bap is okay. So, oh man, here we go. So hip
Lay it
hop
off
has
me.
like several different subgenres. You know, for the most part, it's all hip hop. Like
Mm-hmm.
the subcultures kind of like came out in the 90s. You know, we had southern trap music, boom bap, which is like East Coast hard knocking drums and shit.
Mm-hmm.
Then we had the West Coast, which was, you know, like party vibes and like G-funk.
Mm-hmm.
And then I don't know, what else? There was also, you know, like the fools from Detroit, like Jay Dilla's and them.
Yeah.
And then there was also the East Coast chill shit, like Tribes and you know, De La Souls.
Mm-hmm.
So boom bap is, you know, like more like the East Coast flavor, you know, like it comes from the drums, basically. That's what the name comes from. It's like boom bap, boom boom
Makes
bap.
sense.
Yeah.
Mm.
Like if freaking 1AM song, My Heart.
Yeah. That's
She,
straight up,
you
yeah.
know, if y'all listen to My Heart by 1AM, you know, like the lyric is literally got you in my heart. It goes boom boom bap because the whole album is a boom bap album.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't know. There's different ways to make that type of shit too. Like, you know, music is great, and there's all kinds of subgenres and genres, and yeah, that was a long answer for what boom bap is.
Yeah, it's all good. We gotta know these things. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Would you describe your musical style as purely boom bap, or how would you describe your musical style?
Primarily, yeah, boom bap,
Boom
hip
bap.
hop, but like, I kind of wanna. I'm kind of starting to gravitate a little away from that. Like, I started
Okay.
making a little bit of like lo-fi house music,
Oh, that's
which
cool.
is kind of like the old school, you know, sampled club scene music that's like high energy, stuff like that. You know?
All right.
It's a lot of fun. I like to make stuff that gets people moving. That's pretty much my genre. You know what I'm saying?
Like, yeah, dude. Shit, a lot of MCs in the day were also showmen, so they also want to turn up the people, you know, the crowds and all that.
I want people to dance, literally. Like, I've started turning up the tempos on my songs to like 92, 95, so that like when I perform, I want people to start like going off.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, every Life of Kai album was, you know, like 92 BPM and under, so it's all kind of like somber, like, you know, let me just chill and drive and smoke a blunt to this.
That's my kind of shit.
You know, I gotta get you Volume 3 too.
Okay, cause I got 2, you know what I'm saying? I got an extra right here.
You son?
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'll kick you a fresh one because it's got the actual artwork on it too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that one was that was an extra label that I had for like a limited release.
Oh, that's cool. So I got like a rare version of it then.
Yeah, kind of. In a way, yeah.
Cool. All right, here's a fun thing. Just give me your top 5 favorite rappers, MCs. No particular order if you don't want to, but you know, give me 5.
This is not fair, dog.
Hey man, everyone else had to do it in this interview.
Oh my god, this is not a fair fucking question. Okay.
Might do it on my own later.
Dylan.
Yeah, the GOAT. God damn it.
Oh man, no. 5 favorite MCs. In no particular order, I will say Guru is one of them.
Okay.
You know, who else? Fuck. This is so hard. Well, Tribe, because they're a unit. Like, I want to say Q-Tip and Fife, but, you know, like, they're Tribe, you know, they perform. Yeah. So, like, well, then Gangstar, Tribe, fuck. Raekwon for his delivery.
Oh, okay.
From Wu-Tang Clan. Who else? God damn, son, this is a fucking ridiculous question.
Wait till the next one.
Oh, God. You're gonna ask me producers, huh?
You got it. Yeah,
oh, God damn it.
Let's get through this one first before we jump on that one.
Okay, so I got 3 more. Oh, no, 2 more, sorry. Crude Cognitive. You know, nobody knows who he is.
Okay.
He's hella underground, but he's like, you know, I'm a 2nd gen Crude Cognitive student.
Okay.
I got passed down a couple of his tapes, and I've studied his lyrical flow, and it's like, that's definitely somebody who's inspired me.
The last
who
one.
Am I gonna leave for my
one.
last one?
And just FYI, doesn't mean you don't hate everyone else in the fucking world. It just means that it's the last one.
I know. So I feel like I should add somebody modern, and I want to add Smino.
Smino, okay.
He's a rapper. He's kind of a little more trendy, but he does have his own sound. Like, he's got this album called Black Swan that's mostly produced by Monte Booker. So let's lead into the next question. Monte Booker is one of my favorite producers right now.
All right, 4 more.
J Dilla, always and forever. JD and Nujabes, that goes without saying. Who else?
Too much.
Honestly, I want to say Lord Finesse, because he's been really influential on the whole boom bap style.
Yeah, well, you almost have to mention him, right? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and Pete Rock. If we're gonna do famous, but if we're gonna do like underground producers, I mean, I can name 5 more.
For sure. I mean, in general, you feel me? Like both under and over.
Well, I mean, if we're gonna go underground, we got BSDU, Kai B. No, I'm just kidding.
Kai, BSDU. Selfless plug.
Yeah, I know, a little shameless self-promotion.
That's what it was. Shameless plug. You know what I'm saying?
No, we got a BSDU, or Beside You. Snares is some other dude that I've been listening to. I think he's from the UK or something. But his shit is tight.
They got good beats out there.
Yeah. Mujo, Mujo. I think he's from Hungary. Fuck. Immune. He makes some crazy funk trap beats. And who's my last one? I gotta say Gravel. GRVL, Lo-Fi. Gravel. Okay. And nobody ever says his fucking name right. He says it in his songs all the time. Like, Gravel. Like, what the fuck?
That would suck. You're like, I done told you my fucking name.
Yeah. So, but yeah, so that's it right there. That's all of them.
Good shit.
That's all I could think of, at least.
What do you think about people who, like, not necessarily hate, but they kind of get offended when, like, people don't mention, like, Tupac or Biggie in their top 5, like, rappers, or Timbaland and, like, Dr. Dre and their, or, you know what I'm saying, or DJ Premier and their producers. And say, well, what do you think about people like that? Because it's all subjective anyway, so what does it really matter? Right, yeah. So what do you think? What do you have to say about people like that?
What do I have to say about people like that? I say open your fucking mind a little bit. Like, excuse my French, but, you know what I'm saying? Like...
Fuck, man.
Exactly. Like, dude, open your mind a little bit. Think about... like, go beyond what you just grew up on. Because there's all kinds of music out there that's, you know... There were other, like, you know, instead of just Tupac, listen to everybody from Digital Underground.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
saying?
Or
one from Thug Life.
Yeah.
Big Slack was dope. Rest in peace.
Exactly. So, like, there's all kinds of other artists who are like these people's favorite artists, but they just don't want to look for them.
Yeah.
I feel like people are, like, they only want what's put in their faces.
Yeah.
They don't dig deeper. But that's where you find the good stuff.
Yeah.
You dig deeper.
There's like this controversial list. I don't know if you heard about the top 50 greatest rappers.
Oh yeah, no, I see.
He had like fucking Joe Budden #3 and shit. Which my boy DJ Thigh was agree with this, but like most people didn't agree that Joe Budden should have been in that top.
Joe Budden's a talk show host now, right?
Yeah, he's a podcast guy.
Yeah, like, why is he top 3?
Have you heard his music?
Sense. Who made this?
It was Hot 97.
Yes, actually, I did listen to a couple of his albums, and I didn't really care for too much more of it. I think that's like also that like hard, gritty boom bap shit, but I don't know. It's kind of off-putting. If I knew about Joe Budden before, like this whole
the list thing going on, or podcast,
like he was this interview dude.
Yeah.
Like, cause he's kind of an asshole during interviews. Like, this is a cool interview, you know what I'm saying? Like,
but he's strongly opinionated. I mean, I'm strongly opinionated as well.
Yeah, but you don't need to push your opinions on other people like that. Like, do that with poise, at least. But yeah, I don't know. Like, you don't have to like somebody to like their music. Yeah. And they don't have to like you for you to like their music. Yeah. You know, because music is different than how this person is in real life.
Because most people got mad at their favorites, like you who would generally be in the top 10, got spread out on the list. Like imagine if they put Kai as #2. You're like, what the fuck? Why is Kai?
Who the fuck is this guy?
Who the fuck is Kai? And why is he on this fucking list? And why is Lloyd Banks after him? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, exactly. So like, I don't really care for lists like that. I think it's like if you like music and you like, you know, if you just like music, you'll dig deeper to hear about more of it. Yeah. Because one person can only put out so many albums.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Because there's only one person. You can't write 10 albums in a week.
Right.
Unless you're fucking insane.
But you could find 10 different albums from 10 different people. Yeah. In a day.
And they're all different flavors and they're all different sounds. You can like put them in a playlist and enjoy it.
Like, I try to stop listening to hip-hop on a daily. Because listening to other stuff kind of like gives you, you know, gives you kind of like that. It's humbling to me to know that these people actually had to spend time to hone their craft to make this music, and they had to spend money, and they had to perform this, and like they had to go through all kinds of rigorous stuff. And it's so easy for people these days to just get their music out and to do it and to even like find music. Like there's fucking streaming services where you can find one song, have it create a radio station for you for all kinds of other stuff, and you can find all your artists that way. Like, it's crazy, man. People are just lazy, in my opinion, to finding new music. They complain about there's no good music anymore. Yeah, there are. But there's good music. You just gotta dig. That's why.
Exactly. You know, Life of Kai's out right now. You know what I'm saying?
Throw in the boat.
Exactly. Who's been your favorite artist to work with so far?
My favorite artist to work with? Well, that's a tough question because I haven't worked with many artists. I think that so far I make the most progress with 1AM because we've been in so many studio sessions together that like, when one person, we can kind of like articulate the way that we want the song to go with each other's suggestions.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like what I'm looking for when I work with people, is like, how do we mesh? How do we get this thing done?
Yeah.
So,
what's up? You guys made a great project together too as a result.
Thanks, man. Yeah, we're gonna be dropping some more shit. I gotta send some beats out.
Oh yeah, for sure.
If anybody who I said is gonna send beats out to is watching this, remind me.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And I'll put the link down to his email in the description, wherever we need to reach him. It'll be right there. There's no excuse. All right, so I have a question about, like, nowadays there's a little trend of having short songs, like 2-minute songs and shit. Like, there's not many like 3, 4, or 5-minute songs anymore. Like, what's the deal with that? Do you think that's like a good thing? Do you think it's just a phase, or what's your opinion on that?
Well, it's funny because I was talking to one of my professors about this, and because he loves hip hop, and like he's been like part of the whole like lo-fi hip hop movement, like at least like listening to it, and he said that like it's dope and it's an aesthetic. He calls it an aesthetic, and I didn't think about that because like that's how J Dilla made beat tapes back in the day. Like just you put like 10 beats or you put a dozen beats or 10 beats or some shit on a CD, and they're all like a minute each.
Yeah.
Or 45 seconds. So it's a loop, and you add a couple layers and stuff, and then that became the normal thing for today.
Yeah. Like
you'll see albums or beat tapes with like 36 songs, but they're 45 seconds. And I think it's cool, but I think at that point you're relying too much on, as the producer, you're relying too much on loops rather than constructing a song from beginning to end.
Yeah.
And that's one thing I like about being a rapper too, an MC, like you can fill in the gaps of what just a beat is. Because a lot of beats are repetitive. And at that point people are listening to the words, the flow. So, like, if you listen to a Nujabes song, it's fully structured all the way throughout. A Dilla instrumental is fully structured, has gaps and tricks and stuff. So yeah, I mean, the short song aesthetic is cool, and it also builds up revenue streams. A lot of people don't know that. Like, you wouldn't think, but I was kind of gonna keep the secret sauce for myself. But people figure it out eventually. When you have a short song that's real catchy and it ends fast, people will replay that shit. So, like, get your fucking streams up, yo.
Yeah.
Like, that's one way to do it.
It's true. You think that takes away a little from the artistry, because there's only so much you can do in 2 minutes. You know what I'm saying? And then to make like an impactful song that was saying it takes time. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's hard to do in 2 minutes compared to like a 5-minute, or I'm saying, like, or like a 7-minute song like More Techniques, fucking Dance with the Devil, or so I'm saying, like, it's just crazier because you can like make more with more time than a little bit. Like you said, it starts looping, more.
Yeah, and it gets repetitive. But you know what? I feel you, and that's one thing that I thought of for Life of Kai. I wanted to do an album that was rap songs, and I could tell a full story from beginning to end. Volume 1, at least. If you've ever listened to Volume 1, it's kind of follows a linear path, and it's like we start here, then we end here, and it's 9 songs. Each song is like a minute and a half, and it's a whole. It's basically book 1. You know what I'm saying? So there's different ways to tell a story, and through music. You can do one long song, which not everybody will catch on to, but some people will.
Yeah.
Like to like it, but you could also do a bunch of short songs, but not everybody will listen all the way through.
That makes sense. Because then, like, people are like, are trying to hear a certain, like, sound or buster or play like they're used to, and if you have one long song, it takes up all the time. It's like, that's cool, I want to hear next song,
Right, but they'll listen to the whole thing.
Yeah.
But like with the album, the tricky part is that they'll go through like 3-4 songs and get bored.
Yeah.
But it's a full, developed, fleshed out story. It's just you know, you get different results with different things, and it's like depending on, you know, your fan base and stuff.
Yeah.
Like MF Doom has hour-long sagas, and like he'll tell a whole story in a 5-minute song, and it'll be hard as fuck.
Yeah, well, and people will listen to that shit all day.
Yeah, and I'll have it on repeat. You know, so yeah, it's it all depends on the listener.
Your shit. One thing I really appreciate in your performers, when you have this thing where you have the audience pick out a word, just write a word down on a paper, and then you freestyle each word. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, man.
What was the thought behind that? Like, how brought that up?
That was MC Supernatural. I got that from him. It's this dude, he's hella old school, and he's a battle rapper. So like, and you know, like battle rapping back then isn't what it is today. Fools today come with written raps, and they fucking they just write angry poems at each other.
Isn't that what rapping is anyway?
Yeah, well, diss rapping. That's why I don't do like diss tracks and shit like that. Like, I'm not gonna spend my time and write a letter to another man explaining how I feel.
True that.
That's some petty shit right there. Like, I don't got time for that. So, but MC Supernatural's crazy because he was a battle rap fanatic with flow like a mother, and this dude would take 3 random items from the audience, and he would rap about them, use them in his rap, like 3 random items or 3 random words, and then, you know, that's where I got the idea. But I can't do 3 words. I tried that shit, and I was like, okay, yeah. I had 10 seconds of rhymes, and then it stopped. It didn't stop, but I couldn't go off of the words anymore, so it wasn't enough. So I got at least, you know, like 10 words, because at the Clubhouse performance, that's where I did that last, and I got like 10 words or something, and somebody put orange.
There's always somebody.
You know what? I know who did it, but I'm not gonna reveal that information. Somebody wrote orange, though. I know who it was, and they know how I feel about that.
Is it besides orange? Has there been another word that just threw you off? Like,
nah, just orange. But I made it rhyme by saying ignore it, so they couldn't beat me there.
There we go. It's gonna be hard to really use.
Who the
that
fuck wrote orange? What, you think I can ignore it? What you think? Yeah. Challenge accepted.
Hell yeah. What project do you got in the works right now?
I am currently working on an LP, a full-length album. It's going to be 30 minutes. I like sticking with the 15, 30, 45-minute formula. So I'm going to drop a 30-minute LP. I'm going to drop it on CD. You know, I want to work on getting 45 records, 45 vinyls, the small ones, because they're cheaper to produce. They're to get made. And, you know, if I could drop, you know, a little beat tape that's like 10 minutes, you know what I'm saying? Just put it on a 45, start slanging those, like, you know, have my own vinyl. That's like the ultimate merch goal for me, is my own vinyl. And if I could start with a 45 and a single or a beat tape, that'd be the way to go. But yeah, I'm working on a bunch of beat tapes and rap albums and stuff. I want to do more concept albums, like Life of Kai Volume 1. Volume 2 and Volume 3 were just kind of like rappity rap albums.
Cool. And you have a name for your LP?
Train of Thought.
Train of Thought. And
it's gonna be tight. Not to be confused with the one by Reflection Eternal, Talib Kweli and High Tech. But yeah, no, Train of Thought.
Is there any big features on it, or just straight you?
It'll be... I haven't thought about that yet, but you know what? No, actually, yeah. I want 1AM. I was gonna ask 1AM to feature on it. I want to see, maybe, you know, if Khan is down, and if Lou would be down to sing on a whole verse. You know, I don't know if they know about this yet, but you know,
nah, they will.
They will, like, you know, they know that I want to work with them, and I want more people to be involved with this album. You know, I spent a lot of time working alone, but this could be dope. I wanna make it a good album. And it was slated to release this summer, but shit happens. I ended up dropping Life of Kai Volume 3 in July, so that kind of pushed me back. But you know, maybe in the winter it'll be good chilling music.
Good shit, man. I would look forward to that release. All right, man. Yeah, anything else you want to add to the people out there at all?
Stay hydrated. Be good to your people. There's still a lot of hate in the world, so spread the love when you can. That doesn't mean go up to every person that you see and hug them and you know, get all close and shit, but be nice when you can. Like, I might be rough around the edges, but you know, you still gotta be a cool person.
Yeah, straight up.
It'll get you further. Just whatever you're doing, don't, you know, if whatever you're doing that's working for you, just keep trucking away at it. Don't let nobody tell you you can't do some shit.
Most definitely. Alright, it's going to be it for the interview. I'd like to thank the homie Kai for coming through the show. Check out the link in the description to check out Kai's music. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and click the notification bell to never miss a video from me. And until the next one, we out this bitch.